Alright guys, welcome back to another Warframe video. So I had actually been in the process, you might be able to tell by that little message up top and the one that just popped up about the Silver Grove. That was the intended quest to have ready to release today, but I have to learn the day-night cycle timers due to specific things in what seems to be a rather extended fetch quest. So today is day 2 of my actually working on this, and I hit the wall of a timer again. So I don't suspect that I'm going to have time to get that one finished and released today, which is Saturday, April 27th. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch gears. I'm going to save that one for next week, and I'm going to jump into one that I know that I can do, and that's going to be the Sands of Inaros. Well, I suspect I can. I don't know till I get into it. So this is one that I had to purchase a blueprint from Baka, which I did a couple weeks ago. Haven't drilled in to see anything about it other than I met the unlock requirements. I got and crafted the blueprint. So that's what we're going to jump into today. I presume this is just kind of another little side one. Open inbox message from Baka. Okay. Have no clue what this is going to be about. Says raid an ancient Martian tomb for mysterious treasure. Okay, so we're going to be heading to Mars. I gather that must be the treasure. It's hidden inside of a golden urn up on a little pedestal of sorts. Okay, so going on a little Indiana Jones style treasure hunt, it seems. All right, let's fire it up.
I have a rare opportunity for you. It seems there may be a tomb hidden on that forsaken place. Tombs mean treasure, and yet sadly, my usual relic hunters are superstitious idiots who refuse to disturb this so-called sacred place. You, Tenno, however, are more pragmatic, especially when it comes to ducats. Am I right?
Indeed, you are right. Aha, Desert Tomb. Okay. And yes, we are still sticking with Nova. I had popped on Twin Gremlins while I was working on the Silver Grove, completely thinking I had on the Kuva Twin Stubus the whole time. And I was thinking, man, this thing has a much smaller clip than I remember. So I did swap that back over. Actually, the exact same loadout, effectively, that I intended to run for the Silver Grove. That's what we're going with the Desert Tomb. It's the Nadaruk, the Twin Stubbas, and I've also got the Broken War sword as my melee. So we're popping right on. Let's see what this one's about. Faction infestation. Okay.
Oh my. You can feel the filth and grit in every breath. This desolate rock is the former colony of the backward-thinking sky worshippers. Their stories are worth as much as the sand around you. Nothing. The Grineer took pity on their miserable existence years ago, returning this so-called civilization to the sand. Yet for some elusive reason, their relics have become quite fashionable and thus valuable. Rare antiquities. That's why we're here.
So, you've got the treasure hunting bug, much like Maru. Good for you, Baraketeer. Good for you. Guess we're going this way. That doesn't matter on this frame because I don't have a lens equipped. I could do. Let's see. I feel like we have to go. Yep. Kind of remember that setup from running many, many missions on Mars. All the way around through the door. Okay. Sands of Inaros. Inaros. Is that the name of a frame? Is the treasure going to be a blueprint or parts to a frame?
Ignore these glyphs. Nothing but nonsense about their so-called God King. Inaros, is it? How quaint. The only thing heaven sent from Inaros will be the prices relics fetch at auction.
Okay.
Hush, hush, my little Doom. You don't need to be scared. There. That's right, shake out the sand. But remember, not all of it. And I'll tell you the story.
Tenno, what is this? How are you doing that?
Long ago, the lands of our colony were cursed. They were soaked in fear. The Golden Skymen would come and take our children away. Young and old alike cowered before them, afraid to lose their most beloved.
That voice! Tenno, stop this!
But then he came, the Fear Eater, the Sky Killer. He was called Inaros.
Okay. So we're getting a little fable told to us by some mystery voice of the tomb. All right, take the sacred vessel. That feels like a mistake.
A burial vessel. It will contain precious relics. There, you're not defiling a tomb. You're creating wealth. Return
That's
to your
right.
ship. We must examine this vessel further.
Okay. I am happy to oblige. Well, that was a very quick in and out. Yep, Inaros blueprint. Any post-mission chatter? No, I'm surprised by that. I'm guessing we're going to have to fetch more parts.
I could have never foreseen this. That vessel, it contains primitive etchings that seem to be a sort of blueprint. Was a Warframe entombed there? Look at it. It's exquisite. There's an inscription. Prove you are him. Destroy the ones who oppress. Destroy who? Does this smudged glyph represent some enemy? You'll have to carry that vessel into battle and prove yourself if we are to unlock these secrets.
Okay. This is pretty cool. Fulfill the vessel's inscriptions? I'll probably have to back out to read about the inscriptions. No. Nightwave claim rewards. I guess I'll do that real quick. Sorry, guys. It just popped up. What is that?
Nora sleeps better
Stance
knowing her
forma.
dreamers are out there, working to lift us up.
That's pretty cool. Oh. And then we get an Ayatin sculpture for free. Covet armor. I don't have a Covet yet. That's okay.
Let's check what's next.
Fulfill the vessel's inscriptions. So let's check it out. What does that look like? It almost looks like a flaming beast of some kind. I truly can't even begin to guess what it is I need to do with this. Is it the same inscription no matter where you look? Yeah, and I can't rotate it or anything. Oh yeah, Tiana Pass. I haven't spent some time over there in a hot minute. Let's see. Hellas, maybe? Ares? Let's see. Is Ares not the god of war in mythology? Let's try Ares. And if it's not Ares, I guess I'll try Hellas. I'm just guessing here. I'm guessing I have to do something still on Mars. The inscription on it, it's a little vague. I'm sure that's by design. But let's just pop in here and see what happens in Ares.
Your target is the system mainframe. Deliver the payload.
Okay, so it's looking like this is probably not what I need to do. So actually, now that I'm thinking on it, Baraketeer did say that I would have to carry the vessel into battle, improve myself. I wonder if I have to somehow equip the urn onto my person. Not entirely certain. We will find out here. But that was a decent test. Had to test it.
If you want to prove yourself, you're going to need to carry that burial vessel in your inventory.
Yup. Well, that confirms my suspicion. See, I was coming back to test that very theory next. So, let's just do as he insists. What is that thing called? Sacred Vessel. There we go. And then I guess it could be any of these. Okay, guys, so I finished my work call, and I guess it could properly be any of these, but it kind of makes me want to see... Why don't I try Hellas Exterminate? Since we have to bring it into battle to prove ourselves. Maybe prove ourselves by way or means of just eliminating a bunch of opponents while this is in our inventory. We'll find out. It could be any number of different things they want us to do, assuming that we stick to Mars. So I'm just kind of theory testing a little bit here.
There is a large platoon of Grenier Marines stationed here. Leave no one standing.
Grenier prey on the weak, but we prey on the Grenier.
So... Oh, that's a Necromech summon. That's not what I'm trying to do. Sacred Vessel. What do we do with this? It would appear we do nothing with that. Okay, so that didn't seem to do too much. Which has me thinking maybe we need to go to war? The Sargus Ruck battle, I think it was. Maybe that's it? I have no idea.
Whatever that vessel wants you to do, I'm certain it's somehow connected to that smudged glyph.
Yeah, I am too. So I did Hellas, I could try Ares, or I could try War. That's pretty much, I mean, I don't think Olympus, Alator, Ultor, Wahiba, Velis. Yeah, I'm thinking War is the next most likely.
Krill is aware of your presence. Strike first. Krill is a seasoned war hero with many battles under his belt.
Okay.
They won't be bothering us anymore. Let's get out of here.
That doesn't seem to be it. Well.
They won't be bothering us anymore. Let's get out of here.
That was for Excalibur? Okay. Do they want me to swap to a different frame? Or do I need to use heat damage? It looks like fire. What damage types do I have set up on my equipment here? Pestilence, of course. On the Stubbas. I don't really want to mess with that. I could change Broken War to heat. I could be way off the mark here. I suspect I'm going to have to do quite a bit of trial and error, guys, just like on the Silver Grove. So I'm probably just going to poke around, run every single one of the missions on this node as quickly as I can, and then with any luck, I'll get a hint. If it's not just running a specific one, maybe it's a damage type. Maybe there's something hidden inside of one of these. I don't know, but I'm definitely going to have to poke around for a while, guys. So this could end up being just like Silver Grove with just hours and hours and hours of recording that I'm going to have to split. So I'm going to make a cut here. And when if it looks like I get this figured out today, I will turn the recorder back on. But this could take some time. So we will just jump in and run through them and hope for the best. All right, guys, I had to pause it real quick. I don't even know what mission I'm on. Wahiba Mars. This is the 6th or 7th one that I've run through. This is Infested Survival on Wahiba. And there's been a weird noise as I've been taking enemies out, but then Baraketeer just popped in and said something. He said that the vessel has changed, so maybe it's enemy numbers, a specific enemy type. I have not changed anything in my
Additional
loadout.
life support has arrived.
Yeah, you hear that noise? That noise. Doesn't make it on all of them. At least it doesn't appear to. But it does make it on a lot of them. Like those little guys did nothing. Like the bigger guy, like the bigger versions of those guys is what it seems like. I guess since I can extract now, let's just extract and see if we've done what we needed, and if we don't, we can try to head right back into this mission again. I have no idea. All I know is Baraketeer said, "Hey, the vessel's changing." So I started recording again, and I had heard this noise that you don't normally hear. I didn't actually think anything of it, but then he made comment.
The spores have
Let's see if he changes his tune, or if we get back, if it is all still the same. I have no idea. But that's the first time he said anything to me about it. Well, it's still telling me to fulfill the inscription.
I don't know how this happened, but the glyph on that sacred vessel, it's changed. I suggest you stay on this path.
Aha! Well, it doesn't look like it's changed. That looks the exact same as the glyph that was on it before. So, what if I look at the other side? Nope, it's still the same one. So, I guess let me jump back into that same mission again. What was that I was doing? Wahiba? Let's jump back into this again and see if it does the same thing it did last time. I'm just going to keep the recorder going.
You must provide cover for a lone Tenno operative. Set off the alarms and keep the infested busy.
The run around in circles quests. Did he say anything different this time? He never talked to me while I was in there, so I feel like...
The glyph, it's changed. You must be fulfilling some primitive rite of passage.
Oh! It has changed. It's got color in it. It never had color on it before. I wonder if it's, you know, just volume of infested enemies. That almost is making me wonder, because everyone I had done up to this point had been Grineer. He never said anything. I guess I'll just jump back into there and I'll keep running it. So let's just stick to Wahiba, because we're seeing it do something. I don't know if it's total enemies or specific enemy types. I mean, the little kind of bulldog looking, I don't know what you call them. The bigger, rounder ones that have kind of stubby legs.
Set off the alarms and keep the infested busy. The infested are releasing toxic spores into the area. The emergency life support I am delivering is your only chance for survival.
These little guys. Those guys. They kind of sort of look like the picture on it. I don't know if it's that enemy type, if it's just total volume of this, of
Fallen
all
enemies
infested.
will drop crucial life support.
I have no
Be
idea.
on the lookout.
So we're just going to stay in here and let this keep going until he tells us to do otherwise, I suppose. One way to clear a crowd.
Return to your ship. We must examine this vessel
Oh.
further.
Well, maybe it is the amount of time. Because he just said something as I was getting ready to head out. Okay. It could be a random coincidence. Let's just see. Okay, no post-mission chatter. Well, the glyph on there looks to be filled. Return the burial vessel to the tomb. Okay, so I don't know if it's just a really obnoxious volume of a specific enemy, an entire family of enemy types. Like if it was a specific infested, if it was all infested, if it was number of times running the mission. I have no idea, but it's definitely filled. So I don't think it's number of times. I think it's got to do with overall number. because we ran it 3 times and it was filled halfway on 2, and I just stayed in longer and took out more enemies. So logic dictates it's either a specific enemy type, X number, or X number of, a family of enemies, like infested. We'll get to further test this theory, I guess, if we have to continue doing this. This could be the end of the mission. I have no idea.
I cannot stand this barren place. Even the Orokin could not have enlightened these sand skates.
If it gives us, a part of the Inaros, since we already have the blueprint, then I suspect that we're going to have to do this at least 3 more times over. But we'll find out when we get this urn back to the place, I suppose.
Remember, we're here for relics, not stories. So I'd appreciate if you kept your Tenno Soma Void resonance thing to a minimum. I've had enough of this culture to last a lifetime.
What's he going on about? Okay, the temple entrance. Let's see what happens.
Take the vessel to the door. What happens?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
After this, you must sleep.
After this, I must sleep. Okay. Well.
Not again.
It's opening a door. Just in case there's a boss fight. It's another urn.
Inaros began not as our king, but as our enemy, a warrior of the Golden Skymen. But for each child the Skymen took away, Inaros grew even more angry, until one fateful night. Another child had been taken, and the villagers had gathered in a mourning circle weeping, until they heard a small voice. By the tombs, it was the child returned. As he approached, the people gasped in horror as they saw that he was drenched in blood. His father rushed to the boy and embraced him, and saw that he had no wounds. "Whose blood is this?" he asked. The boy looked to the sky and said, "This is the blood of the Skymen. This is the work of Inaros." By the sand and the stars, the Skymen raged. They set upon Inaros with their armies, but none could prevail. For he commanded the sand, he commanded death. Inaros ate their fear and became stronger.
None of this could be true, could it?
And so they left us and took with them our fear. On that day, Inaros became our king, and in a great whirlwind of sand, ascended to watch over us from his throne in the sky.
What if? It can't be.
That is a lot of enemies flooding in here. I wonder if they keep flooding or how this works. Is it telling me to take out specific ones?
That voice.
Maybe.
Return to your ship. I must collect myself.
Okay. So it is looking pretty likely that we're going to have to figure out another vessel since we just picked one up. Let's see if it gives us an Inaros part, though. It does. Okay. So probably 2 more. What's that? Covet. 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 So we're getting a bunch of Covet parts. Mods, not parts. But Inaros parts. Okay, so yeah, this is clearly going to be another one with a lot of cuts in it, guys. There's nothing I can do about it. Otherwise, it would be hours and hours and hours just to get through this singular one side mission. So, we'll...
I'm beginning to think this Inaros myth was drawn from an actual Warframe. Oh, I see. Another glyph. Another challenge. See if you can figure out which enemy it represents.
Well, he just gave us a good hint there. It is related to an enemy type. What enemy looks like that? I legitimately couldn't even begin to guess. Is there an enemy that looks like that? On Mars? Well, we're back to wash, rinsing, and repeating, guys. I'm going to have to run in and run through some missions again. That doesn't look to me like it's infested, and I think there's only Corpus on one. Yeah, Grenier versus Corpus. Grenier, all the rest of it's Grenier, right? Grenier, 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 Corpus. Corpus. I don't think it's infested, so I'm going to start with Grenier. I guess I'll try to do any survival ones I can find or extermination that have a greater enemy volume, but we're going to do a cut, and I will pick back up again once I figure out what enemy type this is they want us to do. All right, guys. Back to the grind. All right, guys, so I just finished a mission, and it's telling me to return the vessel, and I'm a little surprised because Baraketeer didn't say anything. I was in there the whole time, but as I'm looking at the vessel, there was one enemy that kind of sort of looked like that. Where I ended up, I finished doing Grenier ones, and I ended up on a different... wasn't Corpus either. I ended up, well, assuming it was the last thing I just did. Where was I? Defense on Kadesh. And there, for the infested, there is one kind of big one that kind of sort of, I guess its head kind of sort of looks like that. So if that's a picture of the thing's head, I don't remember what they're called, but I guess I got what I needed, which rather shocks me because Baraketeer never said anything the whole time I was in there. And when the mission ended, it didn't say anything. But it looks like we're ready to take this back to the Tim again. Now, I think it's still going to be equipped in my gear loadout, but I'm just going to double check it. Yeah, it is. Okay, great. So it just shows up here, kind of cosmetic for progress purposes. Would be pretty cool if while you were in the, random mission you're picking, if it showed you a progress meter. Oh, yeah. It was pretty obvious when Baraketeer chimed in, but that one I was completely flying blind. I had no idea. And got it done.
By the void, the Grenier have picked up our scent. They'll take me. It's Inaros. You have to stop these animals at once.
This way, by the way. That will be the same place anyway. Just have like these little crosses. And here we go again. So I'm guessing we're going to get a bit more story here again too. Maybe set it in front of a different door.
That voice. I think I need to hear the rest. I think I've needed to hear this for a long time.
Okay. I guess I really should just keep the bow out. I'm going to assume we're going to have another onslaught of Kavats. Okay.
And so, for years we lived in peace, and our little dunes were our own to keep. But the sands of peace are ever shifting. Years later, a plague came to the desert. The infested. Desperate, our people called out to the sky, Inaros! Inaros! But they could not wake him. And so, they were consumed by the ravenous horde. With all lost, the few remaining villagers gathered in the morning circle to prepare for the end. When suddenly, a storm rose about them. A colossal, spiral storm of sand, piercing the sky. The villagers huddled, trapped within the storm's eye, as the beasts charged them. In moments, the beasts were torn apart, and the infested plague was swept away, never to be seen again. As the storm subsided, the people ventured out into the desert, hoping to catch a glimpse of their savior, their beloved Inaros.
Shocker.
Get ready.
His glorious metal body, broken and still, lying in the sand. Did they mourn? No, no. They knew his spirit had returned to the sky to watch over them once again. They gathered his body to keep it safe from thieves and raiders. They placed the pieces within the sacred vessels and entombed them in secret, knowing that one day Inaros would reclaim his body and rise again. So now, my sweet Dune, you have no need of fear. Take these grains and keep them under your pillow. Inaros will watch over you.
Okay.
Find extraction. We're done here.
All right, well, at least the lore behind it also goes in tandem with the fact that we're pulling these Inaros parts out of these vessels that they stored. Any post-mission chatter? Nope.
The story isn't just a myth, is it? Look at this sacred vessel, one of 4, just as she described. And the challenges. You must prove your Tenno.
I mean, I kind of feel like I should just be sticking to infested at this point. Last time it kind of sneaked up on me. Let's look at this. Does that look... It doesn't look like a Grineer face. It doesn't look like a Corpus face. I guess that could look like an infested. They are kind of bug looking. I don't know what the things are coming off the top of its head. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to do the same thing again, guys, and just grind through the missions. This time I'm going to start with both of the infesteds. Since the last 2 were infested, maybe it's entirely infested, and hope I get lucky. And maybe this time I'll get some hint so I can confirm what it is that I'm actually doing to make progress on this. Anyway, off to the races again. We'll cut and hop back in and see where it leads us. All right, guys, so I have a quick pause here. I am on the mission Jordis Golem. on Eris after having tapped out everything on Mars. Started moving around. Gosh, this is the second planet I've landed on with infested, and I came over here because I was fighting infested on the planet I was on before, as I was trying to figure out what kind of enemy this is, and it looks like it might be what do they call them? The Juggernauts. And I knew for a fact there was one here on Jordas Gollum. So I'm about to take him out, finish up this mission, then go back to the orbiter to look at the progress. And if that's the case, then we will wash, rinse, repeat this to fill this one up. But I think it's going to be a Juggernaut. The Juggernaut that I ran to definitely had horns. I mean, the face doesn't really look like the face on the urn, but it appears to have some progress on it. So I'm just going to test the theory. We're going to take out the Juggernaut that spawns up here, wrap up this mission, head back to the orbiter, and then check the urn progress.
Is here. I am sorry, Operator. Wonderful early act.
Okay. One down.
Operator,
Now we'll have to do this Arcwing. Oh, whoops.
Infested life form. Much larger. Wait, this is a trap?
I regret to inform
Yeah, we'll just cut and
this
skip.
is
This fight will
just
take
the
10
beginning.
minutes. All right, guys, we are back on the orbiter. And yes, indeed. So that was, gosh, I don't know, the second or third of these that I had run into. And it definitely appears to be that's correct. So that doesn't, at least, maybe it'll look a little more clear if I zoom in on this. This to me doesn't look like the face, but this little bit up here does rather look like the horns on a Juggernaut. They do have quite big horns. Granted, theirs kind of slant out a little further to the side, but it definitely seems the theme is infested, and that's the only infested with horns. So I'm just going to wash, rinse, repeat that a couple more times and assume that I'm right, that it was the Juggernaut, not another random enemy type. So we got a little more grinding to do here, and then we'll head back to the orbiter and presumably check in the third vessel back on Mars. All right, guys, that did indeed confirm it, and this is filled, and I apologize in advance. I mean, I don't know how long this video is going to end up, but it's going to be a lot of cuts. There was a lot of hopping and skipping around, trying to figure out where to go to do this. But that appears to be filled, and they're telling us to take it back to the tomb. So I'm guessing that we just go back in. We'll get a little more story behind this, behind Inaros, and then we will pop out and probably have to do another fight in that room. Maybe this time it will be Inaros put back together. Maybe a little frame fight. I have no idea.
Cut them down. Make them fear this place. The Grineer should be swept away.
I don't disagree with you, Baraketeer, but the Grineer are not really my concern at the moment. We're friends now, right? Can I just call you Barrow? Right, move. Closer. Should be right up here, up to the right. Perfect. All right, here we go.
Quickly, quickly, my sweet Dune, they're coming.
I tried so hard to forget.
Well, prepare to remember.
Quickly, in here. Don't make a sound, Barrow. Here, hold these grains in your hand tight.
Oh.
Inaros will protect you.
It wasn't me I was worried about.
What do you want? No, you have no right.
Inaros. Inaros. Inaros.
No, no, it's just me.
Summoned just like
Inaros.
Beetlejuice.
Inaros.
No.
But Inaros never came. You've shown me why I came here, Tenno. Not for riches. The doors are closing again. Prove that you're worthy of Inaros' strength one last time.
Okay. Had to try it. Okay, so we'll take that one out. Whoops.
My mother's call will be answered.
Okay.
Inaros will rise again. Come home, Tenno.
Right on top of that, Rose. I'm guessing that's going to be the end of the mission. Maybe we have to meet back up with Barrow for a little post-mission chit-chat. But we have all the Inaros parts. Be curious to see if it calls for argon crystals for crafting.
She was gone, but somehow you let her speak again. You made me face my past, made me remember who I was. Take his relics and let him rise again. I couldn't think of selling them anyway. For me, these few grains of sand are all the treasure I need. Both of us know why Inaros couldn't have saved her. He wasn't able to listen then, but things are different now. Am I right?
So I gather that that is Inaros. Interesting looking frame. Looks... Does he cast sandstorms? I wonder. Pretty cool, in my opinion. But we got all the parts we need from that quest. Okay, guys. Well, that one is knocked out. Took quite a bit of time. A lot of trial and error. But we got through it. It was not unfun. Just kind of the figuring out, you know, what in the world to do in the very beginning. And then once you finally got the first one, following the pattern. But it seemed like the common theme was infested. Just which type of infested. The Juggernaut took a hot minute. And I'm rather grateful that I did relatively recently that Jordas Golem fight, because I remember there's a Juggernaut that always spawns. I mean, they spawn randomly. I don't know if they can spawn in all of the infested missions, but I've had them spawn in enough times. But that one I knew was a guarantee. At any rate, that is another one knocked down. So before we wrap it up here, I am just going to take a quick peek to check what it requires for Inaros to craft. Shouldn't be too far down the list here.
What are you thinking about?
2 argon crystals. Yeah, so the vast majority of these are all going to take argon crystals. So I truly, truly do need to spend some quality time doing argon crystal farming. Garuda. Garuda is the notable exception. Just requires me to get more rank ups with Smokefinger in Fortuna. But that's okay. That was a fun one. Got us another frame. So yeah. Next video, these might be a little out of sequence just due to the time it took me to get these done. So I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to have coming next. But we are going to be back at it. There's plenty of work to be done, weapons to rank up, trying to get that next mastery rank test done. Luckily, I've still got another decent pile of gear. So yeah, guys, that takes care of Sands of Inaros. Again, I do apologize how choppy that video is likely to be. It's just hopping and skipping while I was testing various theories on what and where I had to go to get those urns done. That was the time-consuming part. But worth it. We got a frame out of it, and it was pretty interesting backstory on Baro Kitir. Nonetheless, guys, that is going to do it for today. As always, I do sincerely appreciate you checking in, and we will catch ya on the next one.